Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Pokemon TCG Pocket. Today, I bring you here for a very special reason because we are about to test the Crimson Charizard, Genetic Apex Charizard, and see if he can actually stand a chance against the new meta with Mega Rising. Let's go ahead and check it out. I'm not going to lie to you. First thing that I'm going to say is that this deck, as you already know, is a very high roll deck, meaning it's a deck that's inconsistent when it comes to its strength because certain things need to be set up correctly. For example, if you have 2 rounds where Moltres is not giving you a single flip of a coin, the game is pretty much over. You know what I mean? Would I recommend taking this deck on a ranked game? As of right now, not yet. I am still working on making Crimson Charizard, Genetic Apex Charizard, a really competitive deck. I'm trying to see its weakness and acknowledge its weakness and basically try my best to have a counter attack, if you will. For example, one of the very things that I witnessed in one of my first games, I'm sure as you're watching right now, against a Mega Blaziken, is the realization that Moltres, for example, has 140 HP, which means that a Blaziken that hits for 140, 120 plus the 20 burn in the end of the round does that so with 2 energy, and more often than not, your Moltres is gonna be dead. Maybe if it doesn't give you many good flip coins, it's gonna be a problem. I'm not going to lie to you. We ran into either 2 or 3 Mega Blaziken decks. We lost in each and every one Mega Blaziken deck. But in terms of the pros of this deck does not need much. How may I say it? This deck is hitting for 200. Okay, Charizard with Crimson Storm is hitting for 200. So basically every single EX is dead except the Mega EXs. Okay, so this is why we're also running, as you saw, a red. Now, I had some people in the chat because we made this deck during the stream. I had some people telling me that maybe 2 reds is the case because we had some multiple instances where we were either not having red in our hand or red was discarded because of an Absol. So in which case, I feel like the deck is still in modification. As I said, I'm still trying to find its weaknesses and do the modifications necessary so that you can run the deck in a competitive manner. Again, as I said, this is what the event, for me at least, the new event that they have in Pokemon TCG Pocket with the 9 wins that gets you the golden emblem, for me is basically the teaser of what we are about to see in ranked games. And I'm not talking about seeing decks like, for example, Infinite EX or like Incineroar EX, or like a deck that I saw today which was like Golem running a heavy helmet and Indeedee, so that you can have Indeedee healing it every round for 20 and having also heavy helmet with Golem's ability minus 30 damage, so minus 50 damage plus 20 Indeedee heal. It's a pretty much really strong deck, but I feel like it's a deck that you're not gonna see in a high elo ranking game. So the deck that I'm trying to make is a deck that is going to be consistent in terms of its victories, because let's not fool ourselves here. We're gonna see plenty of Suicune and Greninja EX. If anything, I think that this is one of the decks that we're gonna see the most, right? So it is important to create a deck that can actually counter that. And I want it as a challenge to take Charizard EX, Crimson Charizard EX, because it's like Charizard, bro. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? And I feel like this deck, if used properly, and if we manage with the chat to create a deck list that is actually fire, like the Decidueye deck list that we created on the previous video, and if you haven't seen that, I'm gonna give you a card around the video, something like that, so that you can see it too. Overall, I love Charizard EX and Moltres. I've seen instances where like people were running it with Magby. I am not really sure about Magby because when you have Mega Altaria, for example, fighting you and doing an open hand with either like a Chingling or like a Jirachi. Jirachi hits for 30. And if it doesn't hit your Charmander, which is like 60 HP, basically 2 hits, it's gonna hit your Magby. You know what I mean? Which is 30 HP. So Magby is gonna be dead and you're gonna be forced to put Charmander, maybe even before the evolution, or even in the instance of having the rare candy and the Charizard. Charizard is not gonna have enough energy to attack. So definitely the flame patches are helping here. I have many instances where I opened with Charmander, Moltres in the back because I drew it in the second round that I was playing, and I could retreat with Charmander, hit a flame patch, and give that energy to Moltres, not losing around in stacking up the energy. I love this deck. As I said in the beginning, keep in mind that if you want to try this deck, first of all, you should try it just for fun to see if you like it or not. And let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, the deck is a really high roll deck, meaning that if you're doing the setup, sometimes the flip coins might fail you. If you do the setup and your flip coins does not fail you, sometimes Rare Candy will, or sometimes Charizard will, which is also why we're playing May, which came in handy many times. That being said, I personally love Charizard. Charizard is one of my favorite Pokemons, and not to mention the fact that it's the first EX that is basically hitting for 200. Is there another EX that can hit for 200 technically? I feel like it is. But that being said, 180 HP definitely saves you a slot from playing a Giant Cape, which is something that I'm actually contemplating at the same time with chat, because as I said in the beginning, Moltres has 140 and Blaziken can actually kill Moltres in one round. Mega Gyarados can kill Moltres in one round. Even Greninja technically with the red can kill with one round because of the effectiveness. So I feel like maybe running Giant Cape just to protect Moltres even for one round and maybe prevent it from dying so that you don't give your opponent the 2 points. I feel like it's crucial. What I do want to mention as a quick tip throughout the video, and this is basically, by the way, one of my favorite games that we had today. It took a lot of brain cells to actually finesse the game around, and you will see it as I'm talking. One of the things that I do want to mention is that be careful as to how many Pokemon you're putting into your bench. There is a reason why you see me right now in most matches having only one Moltres and only one Charmander / Charizard. And that is because sometimes, say that your first Moltres is dead and you hitting with Charizard, sometimes you might be hit with Sabrina and they're gonna switch up to your Moltres, and most likely they will get the kill even if Moltres is full HP, because we have Pokemon, as I said, like Greninja EX, like Mega Blaziken, even Mega Altaria with a Giovanni, or Mega Altaria with a red. We have even Suicune with effectiveness and full bench, even though we're not playing with full bench. Cool kill. Just to put you into perspective, that 140 HP EX Pokemon that gives 2 points is easily killable for most of the cards within this meta. So to put you into perspective, if you try this deck, one of my tips is to always have one Moltres and one Charmander in bench and active. Unless you're really sure that the deck that you're playing up against is a deck that cannot kill Moltres in one round, in which case you can definitely put another Moltres down just to protect Charmander from getting Sabrina or for getting a Repel, for example. And I feel like this is a really good tip. This is something that actually helped me a lot to win many games within the stream. Yeah, as I said, the deck is still in early stages for me. Even though the deck is really good, even the chat says so, that there's nothing that you can like change around with the deck and all that. I beg to differ in that, because I really want to make Charizard EX as much as competitive as I can. But that being said, this match right here was a destiny draw. I'm not gonna lie, we were simply waiting for that Charizard. I'm not sure if I drew Charizard or or rare candy, that what was the one that I needed. But this was basically a really, really nice matchup. Doing, you know, the retreats and all that, basically enough time to be able to do the destiny draw, and so we prevailed. You know what I mean? So this matchup is another matchup that I was talking about earlier. We faced, wait, is it this one? No, it's not this one. This one is with a Darkrai. For some crazy reason, I feel like I need to mention that I faced many Darkrai's today. I'm not sure why. I faced Darkrai with Mega Absol and Oricorio. I faced Darkrai with Nihilego, and I faced a couple Darkrai's with Nihilego actually. And that took me by surprise actually. The fact that there are people who are like still trying to make Darkrai competitive and all that. I mean, don't get me wrong, Darkrai was around for a really long time, and it was not letting any other Pokemon take the reins. You know what I mean? Especially the Darkrai Giratina. But for some reason, again, we saw many Darkrai's, and that is another thing that you can keep in mind, that this event is the teaser, the trailer of the ranked system. This is not the main result, meaning that people are still trying many decks. People are still like free to try decks. Maybe some people like myself are trying to make new competitive decks and try them in like the event, which they know that people are like gonna take seriously to actually take the emblem and all that, more like than a casual match. But I definitely feel like we're gonna see a lot of Greninja, a lot of Mega Blaziken, a lot of Mega Altaria. In some instances, we might see Mega Gyarados, but I feel like with the Suicune being around, Suicune Mega, Suicune and Greninja EX, I don't feel like we're gonna see Mega Gyarados a lot, which is maybe the next deck that I kind of want to jump into, creating a really competitive Mega Gyarados EX deck, just so that, you know, we can see that any deck, every deck can actually be utilized if used properly, as I always say. This is the prime example of what I said earlier. We ran into the Golem Heavy Helmet Indeedee deck, which I happened to see today before I started streaming. I didn't like click to see the deck, to see the deck list and all that. I was taken by surprise. I was taken by surprise because this is actually a really interesting combo. I mean, Golem hitting you for 130, 120, and having minus 30 damage, minus 20 from the heavy helmet, and getting the heal from Indeedee, like, that is kind of crazy. I did not expect to see such a great deck. And as you saw right here, I did a quick retreat with Moltres just to hit Golem and prevent it from getting the plus 30, the minus 30 damage. Not that it would make any difference, because we would still hit for a Crimson Storm, which is 200, which is something that I also love. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is a Mega Absol situation, and I cannot stress it out, bro. Mega Absol, although it's hitting for 80, it's hitting for 80 for 2 energy. Is basically, can I say, a better version of Darkrai? I mean, there are different Pokemon. I'm gonna definitely say that Mega Absol's ability is putting Mega Absol altogether up there, because Mega Absol, as you see right here with the giant cape, it's like 190 Pokemon. You know what I mean? It's a problem, but not for a Crimson Charizard, and that's the good thing. But more often than not, you might get a little bit unlucky how I got here in this game. And I'm not talking about the maybe if we were like to draw a Charizard, maybe I would be able to prevent it, because as you see right here, I did a May and it gave me a Moltres and a Charmeleon or something like that, or a Charmander. I don't remember. It didn't give me Charizard, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. In which case, if I had Charizard, I would be able to actually hit it for 200 and would have been able to finish this game a lot faster. That being said, sometimes you might get unlucky with the draws. You know what I mean? It happens to every deck, not just the Charizard deck. It's just like when a deck is not considered to be, again, quote-unquote meta, you kind of need every ounce of luck you can get. Like an opening hand with, for example, Moltres, a Charmeleon, a Charmander, a Rare Candy, and a Charizard. When you have opening hands like that, you can definitely win the game. There's no doubt about it, because at the end of the day, you're dealing with a Pokemon that has 180 HP and 200 damage each round, backed up by the flame patches and all that, like, you know what I mean? So right here, it came really close. Another thing that I feel like saying is that every game that we lost, we literally were so close. It was either down to like 20, 40 HP or down to the last point, which is something that, although it kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you, because sometimes we were like extremely unlucky, as you saw right there, Mega Absol hit me and it got rid of my Lily, and I could not heal to get another hit. If that was the case, I would be able to win the game. But every game that we played, let me not over exaggerate, almost every game that we played, we came pretty close. Yes, sometimes we needed to finesse, but that's part of the game. That's part of knowing how to play your deck. That's part of knowing how to play your game, the game. You know what I mean? I do also want to mention right here that we've played with a fantastic duelist right here, running Lunala with an amazing board in the back with Lily and the Moon. That I kind of liked it. The chat liked it too. Everybody said that it was nice fit. You know what I mean? You gotta respect the opponent right now. You know what I mean? You gotta give credit where credit's due. That being said, right here, we got hit with another red card. Every time I'm trying to say rare card for some reason, it is what it is. It's not rare because everybody's playing red card or Mars, so you better best prepare for that too. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things out there that you gotta counterattack, and that's what we're trying with chat collectively to figure out. And we're taking it pretty seriously to try to make a really good Charizard deck. And as you saw right here, yet another Destiny draw. Back down, because I said right there to chat, I'm gonna back down. I'm gonna go with Charmeleon instead of Charmander, and we had the Destiny draw of Charizard, and it led to our opponent conceding. That is the video for today, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know down in the comments below what do you think about the deck thus far. Again, this is not the final result, and please, by any no means, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. I would love to hear your tips, maybe for modifications and all that. I hope you liked the video, and if you do so, make sure to like and leave a comment down below. I appreciate y'all for being here. I love you. I'm gonna see you in the next video, big bro. And